welcome back to Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada for the second day of Quad City Chaos 2015 edition, 6th annual. I am Captain Lou Bammo, joined on the microphone, and I am happy to say it's Tipsy McStaggers.
Happy to be here as always.
It's a delight to be back on the mic
it's been
with
a
you,
while.
sir.
It's been a while.
It has. We have the second last of the WFTDA sanctioned bouts about to take place. I'm expecting fireworks in this game. You know one of these teams very, very well.
Yeah, I know the Rideau Valley team very, very well. They're a strong, strong team. I'm expecting a kind of a bloodbath in the pack. It's going to be a lot of thumping and bumping.
Yeah, they're going to be taking on the Boston Massacre. Boston going 1-1 yesterday, losing to Toronto, but beating Steel City. And same thing happened with Rideau Valley.
Yeah, Rideau Valley. They had the same record yesterday, also be able to pull up a win against Steel City, and then dropping a very, very tight affair against CN Power in the 7 o'clock game. I think all these teams are so closely ranked together that the scores have been within 20 to 30 point contests all weekend long. So I think we're going to probably see more of that today on this game, and it's hard to call a winner on it.
I agree 100%. I mean, and you have to remember, Boston comes into this ranked 25, Rideau comes in ranked 39, so there's a 14-point ranking difference. But the reality is that these teams have shown us this weekend they're very evenly matched up. Mm-hmm. This Quad City matchup this weekend has been fantastic. All of the games have been good. All the sanctioned games, the B team game we just saw, down to the last jam, fantastic result for the Bruisers. The home team, Toronto B team, beating the Boston B team. And now it's Rideau Valley versus the Boston Massacre.
And this whole tournament has been Rideau Valley's welcome party to Division I after their stellar run through D2.
Absolutely. They have impressed everybody, even us who already know them quite well. We have been very impressed with how they have done. We're going to get some jamming happening any second now. We're going to start off with Maya Mangalu for the Boston Massacre. They're skating in the white.
And she'll be facing off against number 55, Soul Wrecker, for the Vixens.
Those two skaters know each other from Team Canada in the past.
Yes, they do.
Jam underway. Soul Wrecker trying to get through the back of the pack. Nice wall of white holding her there. Maya Mangalu taking an outside line. She runs into that front wall of black blockers from the Vixens. Mangalu's going to get through first, but she's got a no pass, no penalty. That's going to mean that she does not get lead, and that goes to Soul Wrecker, Tipsy.
Yeah, and Soul Wrecker wisely calls it off right away to preserve a 0-0 jam, knowing that she was not in a position that was advantageous. So we'll line it up real quick. We're going to read out the lineups of each team real fast here. Playing this one for Rideau Valley is 007 Jessica Rabbit, number 10 Murphy, 15 Restless Rose, number 16 Rez, 182, Jamie's Got a Gun, 24, Shania Payne, number 25, Lackey, team captain, number 30, Sister Disaster, number 40, Jane Rudolph, 49, Brennan, 514, Boozy, 55, Soul Record, 9, Bottoма, and 91, Melanie Austin.
Flying King taking the line against Shania Payne in this jam. Flying King's going to get through first on the inside, but Shania Payne, quick as we have seen all weekend. She had a tough game against Steel City, but she didn't score a lot of points, but she was always able to get out, always able to get the opposing jammer to call off. So she didn't have really any negatives in that game.
I think for her, it looked like she was struggling with the floor. To start the game, she was having a little bit hard time getting some purchase on the corners, knowing when to push to get some speed. I actually talked to her later. She did not make any skate adjustments. She just got used to the floor.
We're going to get Space Invader versus Melanie Austin. Space Invader having a tough game against CN Power, their first game yesterday. Looking to get through that front wall of Vixen blockers, getting pushed to the outside by Murphy, but she's going to find the gap and get lead jammer.
Yeah, Mel Austin breaks the pack, but she's about almost a half track lap behind, so this is going to put Space Invader in a position to score some points.
Space calling for some assistance from her pack. Sprinting forward, the Massacre blockers try to pick off the Vixen skaters. She's going to have to call it off. Picks off two. That's first blood, third jam in. And I guess we should quickly run through the Boston Massacre. We got 101 Anorexia, 111 1 is Maya Mangalu, 1634 Stevie Nixer, 1929 Amy Rock, the captain, 1978 Space Invader, 1987 Shark Week, 300 Hard Times, 43 Ginger Kid, 451 Little Pain, 5 Sweet Enemy, 8 Aubrey Planets, 859 Shayna Nestor, 99M, Wanimal, and K1 and 6 Flying King. Hard Times taking the star against Soul Wrecker in this jam, Tipsy.
Lots of action inside the center of that pack and coming around on the outside end. Hard Times breaks it. She is your lead jammer.
Ginger Kid heading to the penalty box, lightens the blocker load. That's going to get Soul Wrecker out of the pack, but here comes Hard Times on a scoring pass.
So back-to-back lead jams by Boston Massacre. Puts a total of 5 points up on the board.
Yeah, it was a nice defensive effort by Brennan on the part of the Vixen. She got a hip into Hard Times as she went through, pushed her out of bounds, prevented her from getting that 4th point. As we've seen all weekend long, close games means that you got to save as many points as you possibly can. Who knows if that single point will be the difference in this game later on. We are 26 minutes and 25 seconds away from halftime, which means we got lots of derby to go.
Shania Payne right now wearing the star, pushing through in the center of that pack. She's jamming up against Maya Mangalu. But Maya Mangalu finds an outside line. She breaks through, and she is your lead jammer. Shania Payne still stuck at the back of that pack. Just breaks through now and about a half track lagging behind Maya Mangalu.
Dag Murphy had picked up a multiplayer block for the Vixens. That made their blocker wall a little weaker, and that got Mangalu through. She hits the back of the pack, calls it off, picks up all 4 points, extends the lead to 9-0. Boston on a 4 jam in a row lead jammer status. Vixen's only able to get it the first time, and even on that time it was a no pass, no penalty. So Boston getting the lead jammers, that's what they want. Flying King as she comes around 10 points on. Have some emotion, but not too much emotion. For lead jammer, Mangalu's trying to back of the pack. Strong. This is
yeah, but you've up 5. Should not into a Space Invader and just
picked up a
back block. She is on her way. Oh, actually, it was a use of the hand penalty, so she to the penalty box.
So 18 minutes and 30 seconds remaining in the first half. We are back on another power jam for the Boston Massacre. Flying King with the star this time. The defense of the Vixens holding strong so far. Again, able to cycle King back one more time.
I mean, really minimizing the damage of these power jams, but when you are down 4 or 5 power jams to none, you're not going to be able to pull ahead on a team or catch up to them.
Oh, that's a rough start for the first 10 minutes for the Vixens. Lead jammer going to Flying King. They did manage to hold her up for almost the entire power jam. Nice power kill by the Vixens. Flying King now with an opportunity to score. Slows up to feed Austin to that back wall of Boston Massacre blockers. And another forearm penalty to Melanie Austin. That's jammer penalty number 6 for the Vixens.
Yeah, I think there's I see a timeout coming really soon in Rideau Valley's future. Probably to have to really adjust the gameplay, particularly of the jammers. But the way this one's being called by the referees, the jammers are going to have to maybe dial back the aggression just a tear, leave the aggression for the blockers in an attempt to open up those holes.
So another 5 points for the Boston Massacre. The score now 50-4. Boston over Rideau Valley. 17 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the first half. Jammer still in the penalty box. Melanie Austin for Rideau Valley. Boston going to send Hard Times to the line to take the power start this time, Tipsy.
Yep. And they're Hard Times off the whistle. She's pushing up throws. She gets stuck behind a wall of bottom. Lackey, Brennan, and Sister Disaster, a very formidable force. Multiplayer block called on Lackey, sends her off to the penalty box. Multiplayer block becoming one of the more popular calls of the tournament system.
Yes, indeed. Lead jammer going to Hard Times. The power jam is over. Austin working her way through the pack. She's got 2 to beat at the front. Gets hit out by Ginger Kid. Ginger Kid then just absolutely massacred by Sister Disaster. She'll go to the penalty box for her efforts. Hard times through for 4 points. And Austin still working on getting through. Now she's out of the pack.
Yeah. So again, penalties racking up for the Vixens. That'll be Mel Austin stuck again, but just before she could start scoring points, called off. So looks to be about a 14-point run on that one, or was
8 points on that jam, and then previous jam as well. So 58-4 is the score. Vixens are going to take it to the pivot line. Both jammers on the track for this start. Maya Mangle, you taking the star for Boston. That's Soul Wrecker for the Rideau Valley Vixens. Rideau Valley with 11 penalties so far in this half, 6 of them jammer penalties. Direction of gameplay on Murphy as she tried to get the drawback against Mangleu. Ray is unable to hold her up, but it's going to be lead jammer to Soul Wrecker.
To Soul Wrecker, but she's in a foot race with Maya Mangleu, so right there, no advantage for the Vixens. Forces Soul Wrecker to call off the jam.
But perhaps a little moral victory there after all those penalties. If Rideau Valley can get themselves settled down, they can start clawing their way back into this game. They've given Boston a 54-point lead on the first 15 minutes of this half with all those jammer penalties. So getting lead jammer at least shows them that they can have that opportunity to put
the
points
whole
on the board.
weekend. The whole weekend has proved for the Vixens that they can skate with D1 teams.
Oh, they can.
They just have to now just find a little consistency and wrap it together for at least the course of this game. But Space Invader wearing the star for Boston Massacre, and she breaks on out. Shania Payne in hot pursuit, so at least that'll limit the little bit of the damage potentially done. Space Invader calling for the play up at the back, but she calls off the jam as she was approaching the pack. Shania Payne was just too close behind, and those Boston points were at the back of the pack.
That's right. Shania Payne again with one of those hustle call-offs, making the opposing jammer work. Even if she doesn't get lead, she's still got the hustle on. A lesson for all the jammers out there. Even if you don't get lead, there's still work to be done on that track.
Yeah, you can still have some control.
Lots of control. What do we got here? We got Amy Rock taking the star for the first time in this game. Amy Rock was a force against Steel City.
And right there, Soul Wrecker breaks the pack first, gets the lead jam status, but Rock coming in right with her, trying to play a physical role and a defensive role, slowing it down. Right now, still early, but the Boston Massacre working on some clock management techniques right there. We're trying to run down.
13.5 minutes remaining in the half. Score 58-4 in favor of Boston over Rideau Valley. Last 3 jams have been 0-0 jams. First 58 points by Boston Massacre racked up using 6 power jams.
Yeah, seeing Rock on the jammer line is something we've seen a couple times over this course of this weekend. She actually reminds me a little bit of Surgical Strike from New Skids on the Block.
Yeah, Rock does work both in the pack or with the star on her helmet. Shania Payne trying to fight her way through the front right now. Flying King taking the outside line, gets bumped to the outside. She's going to have to reset. Shania Payne with a great opportunity to get through first. Here she will. It is lead jammer for the Rideau Valley Vixens.
Yeah, Shania Payne looking to put the first points on the board for the Vixens in an extended period of time. Brennan pushing back the Boston Mass jammer all the way back. There she goes. Shania Payne on the outside of turn number 4 breaks on through. That's 5 points on the board for Shania Payne, getting the jammer point from the last pass.
Batama doing a very nice job of holding up Flying King just long enough so that Shania Payne would have an opportunity to crash his pack. We're going to get a call. We're just going to see what the points were. There was a little contact that Shania Payne got knocked out of bounds as well. I wonder if they're confirming on whether or not it is possibly a low block
right there.
Be one of those unfortunate calls.
I don't think Shania Payne sprawled right there. No. I think it was falling small. I think they may have just been conferring whether or not the pass was inbounds or out.
You got that right. 2 more points for the Rideau Valley Vixens, a 7-point jam. That brings them to 11. Another jam on the way. Soul Wrecker looking to move through on the inside. Maya Mangalu taking a bit of an outside path, but now readjusting as she's getting knocked around at the back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Jamie's got a gun.
Jamie got a gun, and very arguably potentially the youngest skater into the tournament today, a graduate of Montreal's junior program. Right now, Soul Wrecker is your lead jammer. Rideau Valley doing an excellent job on the defense, and a power jam now for Soul Wrecker.
It's a huge opportunity for Rideau Valley to get back into this game. All 4 blockers on the track for Boston so they can do their utmost. Huge hit by Little Payne. Knocks Soul Wrecker down to the outside. She's going to take the 4 points and call it off. That's going to allow Rideau Valley to have a power start. But nice defensive prowess by Little Payne.
Yeah. It's a slow process chipping away into that lead. Right now we're looking at 58 for Boston Massacre, 15 for Rideau Valley. Mel Lawston on the line for the power start.
And again, all 4 blockers on the track for Boston, so they'll be able to put the utmost into their defensive effort. But Rideau Valley looking to provide a bit of a shield. Planet's doing a good job of standing Austin up. Austin looking for that outside line, now goes inside. She's got 2 to beat at the front. Nice cycling up by the Massacre.
Oh, absolutely. They've been just doing that all weekend long, but it's been something you think you make your way through, but you have to go back and fight over that girl. Maya Mangalu exits the pack. She's coming up on her initial pass, but she actually breaks through first and gets lead jam status. Again, that's just great cycling work by Boston Massacre, making you come back and re-earn your position.
Yeah, there's a blocker-on-blocker war going on at the beginning of that jam, and now Mangalu is going to have to call it off, and she gets knocked out of bounds. Picks up a single point, but man, that is a real success. When you start a jam in a penalty box, you can get out, get lead, and pick up points. You always got to be happy.
Mm-hmm.
We should probably give some love to some of our sponsors that have been helping us out to bring this stream to you at home. Wicked Skatewear loves to make you look and feel fabulous. Plus, we like glitter and neon, a lot of neon. Visit wickedskatewear.com and hashtag Wicked Skatewear to experience these shenanigans.
And really, at the end of the day, who doesn't like glitter? Right now, hard times are in the star for Boston Massacre. She's facing off against Shania Payne. Each team jammer stuck up against the opposing wall of the opposing team. And Shania Payne breaks the pack first.
Yeah, Ginger Kid picking up a high block, attempting to hold Shania Payne back. Shania Payne off to the races. Great job holding hard times in the back. The Vixens blockers standing stalwart at the front. Little nice offensive assist.
And with that work right there, holding back the jammer, the entire inside line opened up easily for Shania Payne. 5 points on the board. Finally, Hard Times breaks the pack. She's coming up on what would be her first scoring pass. Shania Payne makes her move.
Single point picked up by Boston at the end of that jam. Again, Zeddork coming out to confer with the outside pack refs. No points. Nice bump out by Boston to save the points as Shania Payne tried to crash the back of the pack.
Mm-hmm.
Score now 60-20, 40-point gap. Rideau slowly crawling their way back into this game. 8 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Looks like Space Invader taking on Soul Wrecker in this jam on that 12:34 skate code jammer line.
And there's Space Invader getting a big assist from her blockers. Just gets the inside line. She is your lead jammer.
Soul Wrecker skating there nice, quickly and nimbly to get away from Amy Rock. That's a scary blocker to be coming at you. Push to the outside of Space Invader. She spins around twice, gets her hands on the hips, puts 4 fingers in the air and gets them. 64-20 is the score. 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Again, you are watching Quad City Chaos 2015 edition from Downsview Park in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Been an exciting weekend.
It has been an exciting weekend. It's the 6th edition of Quad City Chaos, and each year this tournament gets better and better. And I'd have to say that this has probably been the most parity we've seen in all the tournaments. And right there, Melanie Austin breaks out the line right there. She's your lead jammer. Coach Adam giving the signal to wrap it up and move it on hard.
Flying King is getting drawn back. choke in Sister Disaster. Sorry, Reyes in Sister Disaster doing a good job of holding her back. Now pinning her to the outside. 5 points picked up by Melanie Austin, coming around on another scoring pass. King looking to take the outside line. She's going to escape from this pack. She's going to be able to stem the bleeding.
Number 16, Maggie Reyes, takes a big hit on the inside of turn number 2. She has to bop herself right back up.
3 more points for Rideau Valley. Flying King was unable to get to the back of the pack. They did a good job of breaking the pack, though, so good for them.
Sister Disaster sent off on a penalty right at the end of that jam. Didn't quite catch what it was, so right there. 1 skater down for the Vixens to start this next jam.
Looked like a direction of gameplay on Sister Disaster. No player with more than 2 penalties this game. Played relatively cleanly. You ignore the 6 jammer penalties from the beginning of the half.
Yep. And on the inside line right there.
Yeah, we're going to get ourselves that jammer race.
Yeah. Oh, and she blows a tire on turn number 4, forcing her to call it off on from her bottom.
I think the skaters have had a lot of trouble adjusting to this floor over the weekend. Yeah. It's a polished concrete floor. It's not consistent surface all the way around, especially down on the far straightaway. There's a bit of paint on it as well. So a little different consistency. You've seen some skaters blow out. That time Maya Mangiu coming through on 4 and losing a track. I think she was just too worried about Shania Payne, who was right behind her.
Yeah, exactly. And we've also seen 3 skate explosions this weekend. Broken,
Massive.
Yeah, broken base plates, broken hangers. Yesterday against CN Power, the Vixens lost number 10, Hannah Murphy, for at least 10 minutes in the second half as she was trying to repair a skate. But right down to present action, we got Soul Wrecker breaking the pack, and she's your lead jammer. She's got just about a half-track lap on Space Invader, who's coming in hot.
Finds her way through the back of the pack, picks up 2 points, calls it off. Rideau Valley again, slowly but surely chipping away at this lead. It was 58-4 at one point in time in this game. It is now a 26-6 point run for the Rideau Valley Vixens with 4.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Yeah, it's just hope that slow start and all those jammer penalties early on don't come back to haunt them.
Yeah, I mean, it's you take away 6 jammer penalties. That's a lot of points.
Yes.
Jamming away, Austin taking the star against Amy Rock. Amy Rock bullying her way through on the inside, but picking up a track cut, and a track cut on Austin. It's going to be a jammer race to the penalty box to see who gets there first. Yeah. We'll go the full 2 minutes.
I think Mel Austin had thought that the Boston Mass player had skated herself out of play, but nope, the referee made that call. She jumped back in, and so she'll sit probably 3 or 4 seconds in the box. But as a result, this jam will go the full 2 minutes. We'll see what happens now.
We'll have to see what Amy Rock's endurance as a jammer is. We see her out there as a blocker a lot. Those jams are usually 1 or 2 passes, not usually the full 2 minutes.
And as we say that right now, Amy Rock, she's got the penny in her hand right now, desperately trying to make a star pass.
I mean, I think that's a really wise move. Saw an illegal procedure. Someone went to the box. It's not going to be any of the Boston players, so all good for that star pass. It's complete.
Ginger Kidd now wearing the star for Boston Massacre.
And we saw Ginger Kidd do a great job against Toronto not earlier today, but yesterday.
Mm-hmm. And as such, she makes a pass. That's 4 points on the board for Boston Massacre. Mel Austin still stuck moving at the back of that slow-moving Boston wall.
Yeah, cycled back, out of play, signaled at the back. Ginger Kidd through the front, another 5 points. That brings Boston to 9 on this jam. Austin still stymied by the Boston defense.
And with a star pass of her own right now off to Jamie's Got a Gun, just gets that jammer penalty outside of the pack when she was having no success. Jamie Got a Gun has 18 seconds to get into that pack and put some points on the board for the Vixens.
Yeah, Austin had 2 points before she did the star pass. A high block being called on Ginger Kidd. She's going to go to the penalty box. And it's only Jamie's Got a Gun on the track right now. She's got 3 seconds. I'm not sure she can get to this pack in time.
No, just short.
Ends up being a 9-7 jam. We'll see if there are any additional points for Boston. Yes, they had 5 more points before that penalty was drawn.
And Jamie Got a Gun, we got to say, there's a lot of experience. Like, good hustle for her to try to get into that pack. And for a skater of such young age, she's showing a lot of maturity, a lot of development. My favorite moment in yesterday's game against CN Power was when she came back on. There was a massive penalty parade. She came back onto the track, realized that she was the only blocker on the track for the Vixens, and within a second and a half time period, she went through all the emotions of frustration, panic, resignation, and determination. It was amazing to watch, all streak across her face in a second and a half.
Yeah, I love to see the juniors graduate to WFTDA level of derby. We saw that with Lauren Much over the playoffs last year, and now Jamie got a gun, really bringing it to the Rideau Valley Vixens. We got ourselves a timeout. Timeout called by Boston. Timeouts, of course, are brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. To transform your game, visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com.
We also got to say a big thank you to another one of the sponsors, Foundation Physical Physiotherapy. They were on site yesterday with a table doing a little bit of player maintenance for all the skaters who had bumps and bruises through the course of the day. So thank you to Foundation Physiotherapy.
Yeah, there was a lot of bumps and bruises yesterday. No serious injuries, but a lot of people going down with. I mean, Shania Payne was gone for a good chunk of 10 to 15 minutes in that second half as well.
Yeah, she had a Charlie horse, a really bad Charlie horse from landing on an apex jump. Forced Sister Disaster to take a more regular jammer role than she's used to. But she came back strong in that CN Power game, and talking about coming back strong right now, that's Shania Payne as your lead jammer.
This was a power start for Rideau Valley, so only jammer on the track is Shania Payne. Bump to the outside, resets. Pushing that wall forward. Brennan heading to the penalty box. 4 or 5 points picked up by Shania Payne. Power jam is almost over. And
coming
up
on
in the box. There you go.
Coming up on one more scoring pass right here, Shania Payne. See if the Vixens blockers can slow down the Boston Mass on her jammer on her initial pass. Give Shania Payne a little more time to work.
Ginger Kid out of the box, fights her way through the pack. Little Payne picking up a out of play block. Shania Payne picking up 3 points.
She gets the
4
signal.
Points. And again, gets bumped out of bounds, calls off the jam, and did not pick up any points. No hips past hips before she went out of bounds, but still 9 points on that jam, Tipsy.
We do like to see that when the jammer refs always conferring with the outside pack refs to make and get that confirmation if any points were happened. Unfortunately, it's not working in the Vixens' favor, but it's also just a good sign of an experienced and professional referee crew to come out and make those calls.
That's one of the great things about Quad City Chaos. The refereeing level has increased exponentially over the years. All certified officials on the track right now. It is hard times facing off against Soul Wrecker. Forearm is going to send Manglew to the penalty box. She was out there as a blocker, and Soul Wrecker is going to get through first. Lead jammer for the Vixens.
Yeah, we've got 2 Boston Massacre skaters making their way to the penalty box right now, so we got a strong pack advantage for the Vixens. See if they can open up some space, and yes, they do. That inside line opens up for Soul Wrecker. 5 points on the board as the Boston Massacre jammer still has not broken that pack.
Yeah, Vixen's able to play offense and defense at the same time. Finally out of the pack with a star pass. Little Payne is off to the races. Pivot turn jammer. Soul Wreckers are going to get through easily again, though. Another 4 points. Another 9-point jam for the Vixens. That puts them at 55 as we roll into halftime. 78 for the Boston Massacre, but when you consider that there was once a 54-point gap and it's down to 23, you have to say that the Vixens are on a roll. Boston going to have to reset in the second half, even with that 23-point lead, and think about what they're going to do to slow down Rideau Valley.
Yeah, it's still feeling the sting of that slow start, but slowly putting some balm on it and feeling a little bit better. The Vixens have a lot to take forward into the second half.
Yeah, and I think they have to tell themselves to ignore those first 10 minutes. I mean, quite honestly, those were a disastrous 10 minutes of derby for Rideau Valley. 6 jammer penalties, basically 3 sets of 2. Easy for Boston to pick up points. Easy for most teams to pick up points when you have that many opportunities. And Boston definitely took full advantage, picked up 58 points, but then held to only 20 points over the last 20 minutes of this half. So defense kicks in for Rideau Valley. And we've seen Rideau Valley this weekend. You do not want to take them lightly.
Absolutely not. No one's looking for moral victories here this weekend.
Not at all. Tipsy McStagger, Captain Lou Bammo. We're going to take a break at halftime. We'll be back in about 13 minutes and tell you all about the information, numbers, and all sorts of other facts when we come back. And then we'll watch 30 more minutes of Derby.
Yeah, sounds like a good time to me.
See y'all. back at Downsview Park. That's the bunker, the location of this venue. Quad City Chaos, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, 2015 edition. All those words mixed up and jumbled, but you know what I meant. I'm Captain Lou Bammo, Tipsy McStagger. What a first half we had.
Oh, it was an exciting first half. We had some ups and downs for both teams. More downs for early on for the Rideau Valley Vixens, but Captain Lou, you got some numbers that the people at home are going to want to hear.
You know I love the numbers, Tipsy. So in the first 16 jams of the first half, there were 26 jams total. First 16 jams, Rideau Valley held to 11 points via those 6 power jams, 6 jammer penalties that they gave up. In the 12th through 26th jams in the first half, Boston Massacre only able to put up 20 points. The score is 78-55. There was a 54-point lead at one point. Rideau Valley crawling their way back in as the half continued. Penalties very even, 15 for Boston, 16 for Rideau, but again, the big difference being those jammer penalties. 6 jammer penalties for Rideau, 2 jammer penalties for Boston. 23 points, 4 power jams. Boston's got to be a little bit worried, and we were just talking with the Derby Nerd at halftime, and those 23, 30-point leads at half are just so dangerous.
Yeah, that's in hockey, it's the equivalent of the 2-goal lead.
That's right.
It's something that people feel they can sit back on, but if you make one mistake, it can come back and bite you. So we're gonna see now if the Vixens can take advantage of that, and if Boston right now thinks that they can sit a little bit on their laurels, but if the Vixens come back storming out of this gate, we could see a very, very close game.
It's going to be a 4-on-2 pack advantage for the Vixens to start this. Vixens in the black, Boston Massacre in the white, Boston up at the pivot line. It is Space Invader taking the star for Boston, and that is Soul Wrecker getting through very quickly for lead jammer Tipsy.
Yeah, she had to give her feet a quick check to make sure she didn't roll over that line, but she was clean on the outside. Space Invader recycled all the way back behind Hannah Murphy. So that gives a quick pass through for Soul Wrecker. That's 5 points on the board. Space Invader breaking the pack, but Soul Wrecker with a half-track lead has time to try to put up at least a couple more.
Boston sets up that back wall of defense, but slicing through it is Soul Wrecker. Picks up another 4, another 9-point jam. That's actually the third 9-point jam in a row. The last 2 jams of the first half are also 9-point jams for the Vixens. Third 9-point jam in a row for the Vixens. The score now 78-64. 14-point gap. Soul Wrecker had 15 points in the first half. Space Invader 16 points in the first half. King taking the star. They were the lead scorer for Boston. 25 in the first half. Shania Payne also 25 points in the first half.
And Shania Payne really, really hustling hard and strong against the Boston wall. And that's the thing about Shania Payne that no one sees coming. For such a slight skater, she has power in those legs and can move 3 skaters on her own.
Yeah, she's a tiny dynamo out there on the track. She's got lead jammer. She's already around and ready to score points. Boston trying to hold her up at the back. Sister Disaster has to let Flying King go. And a back block call on Shania Payne. The jammer penalty woes continue for the Vixens. And now Flying King has a power jam, and they're off to the scoring races.
Yeah, 5 points on the board right there for Boston.
Sister Disaster hits the penalty box as well. Only 3 blockers remain on the track for the Vixens.
Well, that's Rudolph having a little bit of conclusion there to make sure that she can stay at the front of that pack to try to hold King back, but no avail. King does make the pass, and that's 5 points on the board for Boston Massacre.
Hard times wearing the pivot stripe for the Massacre, doing a nice job of orchestrating the offense on the part of her colleague, Flying King. Flying King back. Shania Payne back on the track. She was lead jammer. It will be a 2-minute jam. Flying King through. Flying King picking up 5 points on that jam as well.
And a lot of tumbling on the inside of turn number 1 right there. It gives a little bit of room for Shania Payne to work, but she is called on what would appear to be a low block penalty.
It would appear to be a low block called by Julius Seizure. That is jammer penalty number 8 for the Rideau Valley Vixens. And again, all the previous 6 were all double penalties as well.
Yeah, so not the start of the second half that the Vixens were looking for. They were looking to build on that momentum of the second half of the first, but
there was an illegal procedure on a star pass from Flying King to Hard Times. That illegal procedure will send Hard Times to the penalty box as a jammer. Time runs out on the jam, but that will spring the Vixens jammer, Shania Payne.
So Shania Payne did have points on the board before she went into the penalty. Those come up onto the board right now. So we're looking at a score of 97-69 right now, waiting for the Vixens. Watching the scoreboard count up and clock away.
Shania Payne is going to get a head of steam up as she starts in the penalty box, gets the front straightaway, and off she goes to the races. Lead jammer. Hard Times will only have to serve a short time, as Shania Payne was only in there for about 10 to 15 seconds, so this should be a shortened power jam for Rideau Valley.
But Shania Payne already coming around on her scoring pass right there. That's how much speed that girl can generate. 5 points up on the board just as King breaks the pack, or hits the pack, leaves the penalty box.
Defense for the Vixens, trying to lock King down for a second jam in a row. Blocking with the head is going to send Shark Week to the penalty box. And a forearm penalty will send Little Payne to the penalty box. And Shania Payne actually ends up having the pivot, the Boston pivot cover on her elbow pads as she left the pack. 5 more points. Easy pass for 1 more. And Rideau Valley is going to run this. I think they like the matchup of King out there. I think they think King might be a little worn out.
Yeah. Planets right there was the sole blocker out for a little period of time for Boston. Planet's the one wearing the dark tinted visor on her helmet.
King did get through for 5 points of their own. 4 more points for Shania Payne.
We still got 38 seconds counting down on this jam clock, going the full 2 minutes.
King approaching the back of the pack, the wall of black of the Vixens, looking to hold her back. Nice move, but gets caught up on the hips of Murphy. Something many skaters have experienced. Pushed to the inside. Shania Payne's going to call it off. A forearm penalty is going to send Planets to the penalty box. 3 more points for the Vixens, a 21-7 jam, and we're back to a 14-point gap.
Wow, and that, the Vixens taking that opportunity, building on the momentum of the end of the first half.
So, and yes, 15-point gap, a little adjustment at the end there. And when you consider again 6 power jam advantage.
At no point in anybody's derby career do you want to spot the other team 50 points.
No, that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
Austin working hard at the front. Ginger Kid and Rock trying to keep her in the back. Austin's going to get through first. Hung up in the back is Womanimal. Defense of the Vixens working hard. She's going to finally get out though.
Yeah, everything was working well for the Vixens on that defense play right there, but eventually everyone got smushed out to the outside, opening up the inside lane for the Boston Mass Jammer.
4 points for the Vixens. They continue to climb their way into this game. It is now an 11-point differential, Tipsy.
Lots of smiles and thumbs up being passed around on the Vixens bench. They're feeling the positive vibes of this second half.
No skater with more than 3 penalties in this game. A relatively well-behaved pack so far. Maya Mangalu taking the stars. She will face off against Soul Wrecker. 1s against 5s.
Both jammers starting to do the sweeps around on the back, but it's Maya Mangalu who breaks the pack first. Soul Wrecker just comes in after her in hot pursuit.
Mangalu looking to run this jam, try to get some of her blockers out of the box. There is 1 remaining blocker in the penalty box for Boston. Wrecker right behind Mangalu. It's call off at the last second. No points scored by either side, but nice clock management by Mangalu and the Boston bench.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again on the 12:34 Skate Co jam line, we're going to get Shania Payne heading out there against Space Invader. And both these skaters were the top scorers for their team in the first half. No, sorry, Space Invader was 16 points. Shania Payne, though, was the top scorer for her team in the first half. Walls at a standstill to start, slowly grinding forward as the Jammers continue to push.
Sister Disaster teaming up with Bammo right now, trying to hold back.
Trent cut on Space Invader.
And that gives Shania Payne the power jam, and she was coming on strong around that corner. Now she sees that she's got the power jam, setting up with her offensive skaters coming in to work a little O for her.
And that Boston wall of white desperately trying to hold back Shania Payne. Ginger Kid, the last line of defense, she allows Little Payne to cycle up, and now Ginger Kid recycles. Can't hold her. 5 points. Lead is down to 6 points for the Boston Massacre.
Jill Lackey coming in to break up that pack. Now she stops back, starts to do the bridge. They've got a skater. Direction of gameplay player called right there for the Ginger Kid. She's off the way to the penalty box.
Yeah, Ginger Kid picked up that penalty, cycling Shania Payne back, bumped to the outside. Space Invader did break the pack. 5 points on that final pass for Shania Payne. We're down to one single point separating these teams, Tipsy McStaggers.
And predictably, Boston Massacre calling a timeout. They've got to make some adjustments now. That's a significant lead has been slowly chipped away by the Vixens, who are now feeling pretty good about themselves on that bench.
20 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in this game. The matchup between the number 25 and number 39 ranked teams in the WFTDA. The Boston Massacre holding on to a slim single point, 104 to 103. And we have ourselves a timeout again. Timeouts are brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. Visit them at rollerderbyathletics.com and transform your game. Yeah, we talked about this at the beginning of the half, and this is not meant as, for any of the American fans out there cheering for the Boston Massacre, not meant as any kind of disrespect to the Massacre, but the Rideau Valley Vixens have been pushing very hard in the second half of the first half and into the second half. And those leads, those 20 to 30 point leads at the half, so tough because one little mistake allows a team to get right back into it. The momentum on the Vixens side. And now Boston has to reset, and that's what that timeout. Fantastic timeout. They only have one timeout left in this game. They've got OR as well in this half, so they're gonna have to watch their time as well. But jam underway with Wheatabitch taking on Melanie Austin.
Melanie Austin pushed to the outside by Shark Week, who drags her all the way back to almost to the jammer line.
And that's going to let Wheatabitch get lead jammer status. It's what Boston needed to stem the uprising of the Vixens. Austin out of the pack as well. The pack is moving very quickly, Tipsy.
Yeah. Right now, and the Vixens putting all their points up near to the front. Hannah Murphy throwing a shoulder into Hard Times.
Hard Times doing a great job of providing some offense for her blocker. Gonna have to call it off, and she managed to get
one point,
a single point. Hard fought point by Wheatabitch, but if you're a Boston Massacre fan or a Boston Massacre skater, you've got to be happy that the points are going up on your side of the scoreboard and not the Vixen side. Now a 2-point differential in this game. 19 minutes and 45 seconds remaining in the bout. 105 to 103. Boston in white, Rideau Valley in black, and it is Maya Mangalu versus Soul Wrecker once again.
And right now, Soul Wrecker trying to ride the coattails of Sister Disaster all the way through, and it works. She breaks the pack, but she's in a foot race.
Big smile from Maya Mangalu.
Again, that's that thing where if you do not get lead jammer, just hustle. You can still take control of that jam.
And I really like that technique that Soul Wrecker used too. You mentioned she basically just latched onto the back of Sister Disaster and used her as a plow to move blockers out of the way. It worked out very well for Soul Wrecker, but Maya Mangalu basically followed in the wake.
Yep.
We're going to get Space Invader taking on Shania Payne as the jam gets underway.
Space Invader working hard right now to sign an opportunity on the outside. Cut the track penalty being called on. That's on Shania Payne, so that's got Space Invader with some time to work. But
she is lead jammer. A little whistle confusion going on there.
Vixen's coming to a dead stop on that pack, giving Space Invader opportunity to muscle her way through for a quick 5 points on the board.
Nice work on the part of the Massacre blockers to isolate Rudolph at the back. Only 2 at the front. Brendan Murphy trying to hold Space Invader back. Murphy getting a hold of her, but she's going to have to let her go. Out of play, 5-point Space Invader.
Big jam right now for the Massacre. They needed this.
Shania Payne is out of the penalty box. The 30 seconds expiring. Space Invader again fighting at the front of the pack. She's got Murphy and Rudolph once again working in a duo, trying to contain her. Spins once, spins twice, can't get past Murphy. Shania Payne is out of the pack. Space Invader going to have to put the hands on the hips. I believe she got them all 4 points. A 14-point jam for Space Invader. That gives the Boston Massacre a little more breathing room with 17 and a half minutes remaining in the game.
Yeah, looking at a score of 119-103 for the Boston Massacre. Stem the tide of the Vixens comeback for just a little bit there.
Shania Payne on four penalties so far, all jammer penalties on her behalf.
Yep.
Womanimal taking the star against Melanie Austin. And a back block on Womanimal is going to send her to the penalty box. The roles are reversed in this jam. It is now a power jam for the Vixens, but Shark Week doing a nice job of containing Austin so far.
Yeah, Austin having to go through that entire pack again. She was almost broke through, but still. Super bridge being done right now by Boston Mass, but not long enough. Breaks Mel Austin out, so she's coming in on her first scoring pass right now. The Vixens have Shark Week trapped at the back right now. She's trying to push through, but Melanie all the way through on her first pass, and she's got 5 points on the board. Coach Adam just calling hard to skate through to rack up some more points. Shark Week pushes Austin out at the last second on the inside. Oh, no. I thought she was almost caught on a cut penalty right there, but Shark Week must have skated herself just a touch out of bounds.
Yeah, I think she tapped the wheel out of bounds when she had that big hit. Nice crosswise lateral movement by Shark Week to put that hit on.
Yep.
Womanimal out of the pack now as well, so Austin's going to have to be careful. 9 points so far in this jam. 3 more will give her 12, and we're almost back where we started a couple jams ago. 4-point differential, 119-115, 15 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this game between Rideau Valley and Boston. Ooh, Tipsy.
Well, I tell you, we knew that this was going to be a tight game this weekend. The start of the game was a bit of a surprise to both of us but now we're right back where we thought we'd be. Makes us wonder what the score might have been had the Vixens not had that disastrous start. But hey, you can't worry about what might have been, so you have to work with what you got.
Soul Wrecker had put a shoulder into Ginger Kid and accelerated her around, picked up lead jammer status, and Amy Rock came out of nowhere and plowed her to the outside, held her back into the pack, and a back block. A back block on hard time sends her to the penalty box. The penalty woes are heading Boston Massacre's way this time. And that's another power jam for Soul Wrecker and an opportunity to take the lead in this game on this pass.
And I think for the first time in this game, the Vixens are now sitting with a 1-point lead.
Hard fought, clawing back, jam after jam since a disastrous start, and the Vixens are now 6 points ahead, 10 points in this jam. Power jam about to end. Here comes Hard Times back on the track, but Soul Wrecker is back and looking for more.
Yep. She's up there pushing, shouldering hard up against the two players. There you got a multiplayer block being called. That'll get Soul Wrecker around. Does she grab all? Yes, she does. She gets all 5 on that last pass. We've got a score of 130-119 in favor of the Vixens. Vixens with their first lead at the end of that jam.
11-point differential for the team from Canada. Lots of fans in here cheering for the hometown, not really a hometown, but home country team. On the other side, Boston Massacre brought their B team, and they've got their own built-in cheering squad out there.
Shania Payne wants that outside line, but she gets drawled out at the last second by Little Payne.
Little Payne also stepping out, so it was a no pass, no penalty, able to get out. The lead jammer was called before the hit out of bounds occurred.
Oh, Shania Payne runs into a big hit, but shrugs it off, makes it through on her pass. 4 points on the board.
Oh, and an easy pass as well for Maya Mangleyu. trading points on the scoreboard right now. Little bit of penalty trouble for the Vixens. I think they were trying to clear the penalty box. Not going to happen as Shania Payne's going to call it off. An 8-4 jam. Rideau Valley now 138-123 for Boston. 13
minutes.
Wow. Boston needing to reset. They do have a blocker advantage in this jam. 4-on-3 pack advantage. They will send Space Invader to the 12:34 skate code jammer line. Austin will take the star for Rideau Valley.
And right now, both jammers having a little hustle and muscle on the inside of that pack, trying to work their way through the opposing team walls. Mel Austin thought she had the outside line, but Shark Week broke her through. Skated just that little bit too far back, did not get the cut the track penalty, but it does offer enough time for Space Invader to break the pack first. Mel Austin in hot pursuit behind her, about a quarter track length behind.
Again, Boston trying to isolate at the back. Sister Disaster skates through that back wall. All of Boston points hanging out at the back. Space Invader getting stood up by Sister Disaster. Crashes to the ground. Calls off the jam from her back. And a single point picked up by Rideau Valley and nothing for Boston.
But Sister Disaster called on a penalty for that back hit. I don't know. Sister Disaster's really excelled her game as far as her backwards defensive play coming on. Not sure what the call possibly would have been. We're going to see if it was that.
It was a forearm
penalty.
Yep. Fair enough. Can't use your forearm to impede the forward momentum of skaters added to the rules in this 2015 edition. Lead Jammer's going to go to Boston once again. Back-to-back lead jammers. Hard time taking the star. Hard time getting lead jammer status. Soul Wrecker still stuck in that pack. One to beat at the front. Little Pain working her over. Slowing her up. Soul Wrecker gets through. Hard time is already around though and ready to score points for the Boston Massacre. She's through the pack. Picks up 4. Calls it off. Boston starting to creep back on the Vixens now.
Yeah, we're gonna hope, potentially see a back and forth affair for the remaining 11 minutes.
139-127, Rideau Valley over Boston at the moment. Going to be Shania Payne taking the star, going up against Womanimal on the 12:34 jammer line. 12:34 skate goal jammer line.
Yep, both jammers unsure where it looks like they want to start from, and Shania Payne with a quick move to get around the first blocker, but then solidly into the 3 wall of the Massacre players.
Penalty problems for the Vixens, but they're able to hold up Womanimal. Jailbreak brings them all back on the track, and penalty problems now for the blockers of Boston.
Yeah, and look at just Shania Payne hustled her shoulders hard, but called a forearm penalty on that shoulder contact. That'll be a power jam right now for Boston Massacre.
So another penalty to the Vixens. Tides turn once again. Boston Massacre with a chance to bring it back to within their lead. Womanimal bumped to the outside. She'll make her way through. Picks up 4. 1 no pass, no point on that pass. Now an 8-point differential. Under 10 minutes remaining in this game. Power jam almost over. Womanimal coming up at the front of the pack. Shark Week looking to provide some offense at the front. Splits the defense and gets her jammer out. Another 5 points for the Boston Massacre.
An excellent pivot move on the inside. She was able to roll off the Vixen skater.
And a blocking with the head call on Shania Payne. She's going back to the penalty box. Back-to-back jammer penalties once again for the Vixens.
And that'll put Shania Payne in some real penalty trouble. I think she'll have 1 left.
She will have 1 left, and it is really hard to put a jammer back on the track when you only have 1 penalty to give. Boston with 14 points on that jam. That means Boston is back in the lead, 141-139 of the Rideau Valley Vixens. A 2-point differential. Boston back on top.
Now, even if it's Shania Payne in that penalty trouble, they do have an excellent relief jammer in Sister Disaster.
Who is also on 6.
Who is also on 6 penalties as well.
So with 9 minutes left, you may have to see a 1-2 jammer rotation. We'll have to see what Coach Adam does, whether he rolls the dice. Maya Manglew gets lead jammer. Shania Payne starts this jam in the jammer box. Well, it seems like a jammer box this weekend. Maya Manglew coming through on a scoring pass, bumped outside by Hannah Murphy. 3 sets to the inside. She's got 2 to beat at the front. Bursts her way through that pack, and that's 5 more points for Boston.
Yeah, Lackey was stuck behind 3 Boston players, able to have that pack stretched out to free up the jammer.
Mangayu calling for some assistance. Now working it on her own. Vixens holding her up. Staying solid at the front. Shania Payne is out of the penalty box now. Power jam is over. Shania Payne trying to get through on her initial pass. Mangayu being held up at the back.
Yeah. Shania Payne breaks the pack, which means that she can come back up on her scoring run. That will also mean that Maya Mangayu has to call off that jam. Trying to milk out the last couple seconds on it as well to get that clock down. Now, the Rideau Valley Vixens, not really unfamiliar with penalty trouble.
No.
If you remember in their D2 Kitchener finals, they had 4 skaters ejected from that game, and we're talking important players too.
Yeah, foul outs are tough. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was basically in the last 10 minutes of that game, it was every jam they lost another superstar player on their squad.
We saw Murphy leave the track. We saw Reyes leave the track. We saw Brennan leave the track.
Yep, and yet they still managed to pull off the victory. They are down by 11 points now, 7 minutes and 46 seconds remaining. We are in a timeout for the Rideau Valley Vixens. And as you know, timeouts are brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics, who provide off-skate training specifically for Derby. You should visit them online at rollerderbyathletics.com.
Vixens using 1 timeout right now. They still have an official review and a 3rd timeout left, so they can rest their players if needed for the last 7 minutes and 46 seconds left of this game.
The final sprint to the finish. It's been chaos in this game, back and forth, lead changes, gaps being shrunk. Vixens with that horrendous 58-4 start. Jammer penalties starting to bite them again as time's running out in this game. It's going to be Soul Wrecker against Flying King. Soul Wrecker being held up at the front. Ginger Kid doing a great job of isolating her. And Shark Week gets a piece of her, jumps to the back, going to draw her way, way back. Soul Wrecker having to reset. And we have a direction of gameplay on. Is that Jamie? Yeah.
Jamie got a gun on the way to the penalty box. Soul Wrecker sees her moment. She's fighting up at the front of that pack. Still holding on tight. They free her up. And Soul Wrecker is your lead jammer, but that took a full 40 seconds of that jam to establish lead jammer. So clock is starting to become a little bit of the enemy for the Vixens.
The Soul Wrecker absorbed big hits by Shark Week, Ginger Kid, and Stevie Nixer and still managed to get out. She's at the back of the pack. She's going to get called off. No points for Soul Wrecker. No points for Boston. 11 points is still the differential. 6.5 minutes remaining in this game. Boston on top, 150-139. Nerd Roller Skates is Calgary's only quad skate shop, now offering free shipping in Canada with orders over $150. You can find them at nerdskates.com. Austin taking on Space Invader.
Mel Austin pushing hard in the center of that pack. We got Space Invader right beside her, who takes her move on the outside. Still has to beat Rudolph, but she is your lead jammer, Space Invader, for the Boston Massacre.
Planets had picked up a multiplayer block, but the remaining blockers for Boston able to recycle Austin to the back. That allows Space Invader to get around the track on her. After her initial pass, now on her scoring pass, the front 4 wall of Vixens trying to hold her back. Space Invader slowly moving them forward.
Mel Austin, she just wants to look and see if she can pick her moment to engage that back wall, but she's got a clock ticking against her.
A low block is going to send Little Payne to the penalty box. That'll give Austin a little bit more room to move.
Space Invader still stuck against that 4-skater wall by the Vixens.
You know, I think Boston's going to be happy to trade time for points. They're still going to pick up 5 on that pass.
Star pass right there. Clips it off to Jamie's got a gun, as Austin just did not have any momentum working for her. So Jamie's got a gun trying to get that jammer pad on her head right now. Approaching the pack, she's got Planets and Rock to face against. 2 very, very imposing figures.
Another single point picked up by Space Invader as that jam comes to an end. 156-139 is the score. Boston Massacre over Rideau Valley, under 5 minutes remaining. Now, at the end of that jam, there were 2 blockers for Boston in the penalty box. It is a 4-on-2 pack advantage. And we're looking at...
Timeout being called right now by the Vixens. I think Shania Payne's been ejected, so I can't find her.
And the timeout being called by Rideau Valley. Timeout is brought to you by Roller Derby Athletics. It is a team timeout. Roller Derby Athletics wants you to be strong, fierce, and unstoppable. Find out more about Roller Derby Athletics at rollerderbyathletics.com. So yeah, Shania Payne still sitting at 24. Sister Disaster still sitting at 6 points. Six jammer penalties and 6 regular penalties, basically. They're all penalties are penalties.
Yep.
Those are the 2 danger zones, though.
Couldn't find Shania Payne for a second there on the bench. I thought for a second she may have picked up her 7th penalty, but nope, she's still sitting on the bench. I'm not sure if Adam's just going to keep her for a desperation play, but with that many penalties for your jammers, you're running low.
Yeah. 17 points separate these teams. A 4-on-2 pack advantage. Soul Wrecker, Hard Times, Rideau in black, Boston in white.
You'll see that the Rideau Valley skaters occasionally take moments to point to the ceiling, and that's their little cry for the weekend, that no matter what, they're going up. And it seems to be working as Soul Wrecker breaks the pack, and she's your lead jammer. 4 minutes, 23 seconds left to play.
Yeah, huge opportunity for Rideau Valley in this jam. Jammer cover is off of Hard Times' head. It's a star stash, but Soul Wrecker is through for 5 points. Hard Times still stuck in the pack. I think she's going to get through now. Yes, she will escape from the pack. Now Soul Wrecker going to have to be cautious as she approaches the back of this pack. And bursts her way through like they were paper. Kool-Aid Man crashing through the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And looks like Rideau is going to keep on running this jam.
Yep. 4 points on the board for Boston. So Soul Wrecker coming up on another pass. She bashes her way through. 4 points to there. They're keeping pace with each other.
Hard Times breaking through that wall easily as well. Again, another 4 points for Boston now.
Coach Adam pointing it on. Oh, knocked to the inside.
Wrecker calls it off. Did she give up any points? Yes, a single to Boston, none for herself. That's going to let Boston get to 10 points. It was 2 points, 1 in the box for Rideau. 13-10 jam, 14-point differential now.
Coach Adam comes to the center. Should make the signal for the official review. He's got a challenge, trying to figure something out. Now, do you think this is a challenge you think he can actually try to win, or is he just trying to save time?
I think he wants to win this challenge. I don't know that he's going to win this challenge. I think he may be questioning late whistles, which is very rare that you're going to get any points taken off the board as a result of late whistles. I mean, it does have the side benefit of stopping the clock. However, that is the last chance for the Vixens to stop the clock in this game. It means we'll run for the 3 minutes and 19 seconds straight unless Boston decides to take a timeout. And with 14 points, that really puts the clock in favor of Boston. Really tough to manage it when you have no chance to stop the clock.
Not sure what he's actually challenging, and if there was something that could actually have a huge impact on that last jam.
Well, again, you gotta stop the clock at some point. So you might as well take your shot. If you win it, you get your OR back. You get one more stoppage of the clock. So if he thinks he has a good shot at it, why not roll the dice? We should give some love to some more sponsors because you're sitting at home.
Who doesn't like sponsor love?
And the internet's not free, people. Rumbling Rage Derby Shop is Canadian roller derby owned and based in Barrie, Ontario. Their mission is to provide you with accessible, high-quality products to play roller derby. That's Rumbling Rage. Thank you for being a sponsor of Quad City Chaos, the 2015 edition. Again, you are watching us live, unless you're watching an archive, of course. But right now, you're watching us live.
If it's the future, you're watching us in archive.
That's right.
Don't wrap your head around that.
Downsview Park, Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm Captain Lou Bammo. Tipsy McStagger has been my partner in microphonic crime during this broadcast. We're down to a 14-point gap between these teams. 166 Boston, 152 Rideau Valley. 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. I don't think Coach Adam won his review.
Nope.
And we're going to go for another 3 minutes and 19 seconds and see what Boston can do. They've got it in control at the moment. Womanimal taking the star against Melanie Austin.
Womanimal just muscles her way through the center of that pack. She breaks through and is your lead. Mel Austin recycled to the back. She's still got to fight her way through. Already Womanimal coming up on the back on her scoring pass. Big hit by Reyes, trying to recycle her all the way back, stretching the pack as far as possible. Austin finally is able to break the pack, but not before Womanimal calls it off. So 3 points gone the board. Go for the Boston Massacre, 0 for Rideau Valley. 2 minutes, 43 seconds left to play.
Confirmation on that last official review. It was indeed about the late call off, the 2 points that were awarded to the Boston Massacre. Official review was not won. The official review is not retained. And as we said, Rideau Valley, no chance to stop the clock. Under 2.5 minutes remaining in the game. Yep. 169 Boston, 152 Rideau Valley, 17-point gap. Soul Wrecker with a star in her head against Maya Mangayu. If Mangayu gets the lead, they can run it 2 minutes, and that would be the end of the game because Rideau cannot stop the clock. So very essential for Wrecker to get through first. Mangayu with an outside line.
She sees them space. She takes it, and Maya Mangayu is your lead jammer. Full control now from almost now to the end of the game.
Mangayu looking at the back of the pack. Just has to skate cleanly, and she can end this one in favor of the Massacre.
Soul Wrecker breaks the pack finally, so she starts up on her scoring run right there. Maya Mangayu blows a tire on the straightaway. She's just going to stand. I'm not sure if she's
going to call it off. She could have made this game over, but has decided that we will get one more jam.
But that could have been a difficult decision for her because she could not engage at that point, and
That's
that
right.
would just give free run for Soul Wrecker, who's known for her speed.
She is indeed. She's got that slicing form that just carves walls apart. So we will go one more jam. Again, Soul Wrecker going straight back out on the line.
Yep.
She will take on Space Invader. It is a 4-on-2 pack advantage for Toronto. Huge last-ditch effort for Rideau Valley to try to get through. Ginger Kid knocked to the ground. Soul Wrecker is going to get a lead. If they can call it off with with more than 30 seconds left in the period, they can get one more jam, but I have a feeling they're just going to roll the dice and run it for 2.
Yeah, this is their big chance to make their move, so they got no choice but to just run it on.
Soul Wrecker with the lead. She's going to get through. Nope, bump to the inside. Little Pain knocking her down. Little Pain also going down. Wrecker decides to take the better part of caution. Goes back to the back of the pack. Space Invader, the one to beat. It's Rudolph. Space Invader's going to get through. She's going to put the first 4 points of this jam up on the board. Wrecker's going to get through as well. They're going to trade now.
We're looking with 10 seconds left on the period clock, a minute 12 on the jam clock. This Soul Wrecker is probably going to try to take this all the way through to the very, very end. If she cannot catch up 100% to the Boston Massacre, they can at least slow the gap down and get those valuable ranking points.
Yeah, even just trading points is going to be a solid ranking win for Rideau Valley. 4 more points for Space Invader. Nope. And the jam is called off by Soul Wrecker. Soul Wrecker out of gas. Puts up 3 points of her own. An 8-7 win on the last jam of the game. 182 for Boston Massacre over Rideau Valley. But what about Tipsy McStaggers?
Boston Massacre able to hold off the late second half push by the Vixens, who held the lead for a short period of this time after coming back from a huge deficit in the first half.
Boston Massacre ending up with a 23-point gap. But yes, they were up by 54 points with 10 minutes into this game.
Yep.
Rideau Valley managing to claw the way back, eventually taking the lead, but then penalties again becoming a problem in the dying minutes of this game.
Yep.
Boston Massacre able to take advantage of that once again on Rideau Valley and coming away with the win. Now, if you're wondering, rankings-wise, what does this mean for either team? Does Boston get hurt by beating a team like Boston's number 25, Rideau Valley's number 39? Does Boston get hurt by only beating Rideau Valley by 23 points? The answer is no. This is what they needed. They needed a win. This will actually give them a slight ranking boost because of this victory. Rideau Valley on the other side, they lost this game, but they will actually get a much more substantial ranking boost because of how much more Boston is worth.
Yes. Now, coming in from this one, like this was Rideau Valley's grand introduction to Division I Derby. It's currently ranked 39th. Now, playing against all the teams and their strong showings, including a victory over Pittsburgh Steel City, this could see the Vixens improve drastically on the ranking, possibly potentially breaking into the 20s, more likely landing into the low 30s. But still, that's a very significant rankings boost for the Vixens.
Yeah, from my pregame calculations, I had them in the low 30s after their first 2 games. Again, this may bump them up over a couple more teams. One of the great things about Quad City Chaos has been that because all the teams are closely ranked together and the bouts have all been fairly closely scored together, so far no team, no sanctioned game, no team playing a sanctioned game has actually scored less ranking points than what their average was coming into this game. It has been every single game has been a benefit in rankings for both teams. And I think that's fantastic. And I think it shows how the ranking system works really well when you have teams of equal competitiveness on the track and of similar rankings. You end up having benefits on both sides.
Yeah, so that's just a sign of an excellent tournament right there.
Yes.
And we just like to thank the Boston Mass players right now for adding a little bit of color to the back of the screen here. Because I mean,
the pony dancing from anorexia in the back there, very nicely done.
I appreciate it because if I had to look at our 2 mugs for an extended period of time,
I'm so sorry, people.
But still, both teams managing to have little bumps in their ranking. So it's a big win for everybody this weekend. The Vixens prove that they can skate with the D1 teams. They can get a ranking boost because of it. All the other teams that participated got very, very, very strong showings and would benefit from the results of this game. This is overall a successful tournament from the team point of view, from the fans' point of view, because they were treated to some fine derby this entire weekend. That has been amazing.
And we have 2 more games left. We've got the B team from Steel City taking on Toronto's Bay Street Bruisers right after this one. And then we're going to get the last sanctioned game of the tournament, the last game of the tournament, the host CN Power taking on Steel City after that one. Don't go away. We'll be back for more action from Quad City Chaos.